Alright, so today we are going to be working on the third project perimeter here. So as you can see, this one's a little bit more further ahead than the rest. That's because I am professional and I did not start recording until completed everything for this perimeter. So yeah, turn this overlay off here, that way you can actually see the floor decoration here. So if you couldn't tell by the floor decoration and all of the stuff on the walls, this is going to be our spider farm perimeter. Now, this is something that I've actually really wanted to do for quite some time now, as I've always been interested by, these down Accel farms, because I've never built one before. But yes, we have a whole perimeter dedicated to this. And if you saw by that schematic overlay there, it takes up quite a majority of the floor. So for this one, because of the shape that it is, we are going to actually rebuild most of the floor above the farm. Now, yes, that will kind of decrease the rates for the area, but I think it's a fair trade-off for getting it to look good on the map still as well. We're going to ignore this area over here. I did build up my Road Eater Destroyer on the wrong side, and it did launch the TNT dupers, which made their way across. But we're just going to ignore it and act like it's just not there. At least once the area is done, we won't ever see that over there anymore, which will be a good thing. But yeah, so for now, everything is all cleared out here with the wall decoration done as well, which I do love. The floor is absolutely amazing for this 256 scale. The spider guy is absolutely perfect. Like, you don't even need to look at the map for it to know it's a spider. And the walls that I designed, pretty simple, just, cobwebs. And then I kind of added this little spider eye guy right there. So just because a bunch of spider eyes just looking across the whole perimeter there, just looking straight at you, no matter where you are in the perimeter. Kind of like how invisible spiders are. All you can do is see their eyes. So yeah, just like the last perimeters, this one will also be available on the AutoCraft website in the description down below. So if you want to pick this up for yourself, you can head down there and grab the schematic from that website. Time to actually start building the farm. What we got here is an Accel farm that was designed originally by Amelia. We have their schematic here, but we just retextured it to kind of fit the spider theme. So what this one does is it makes use of the dripstone right here, that you can lower the height of the actual spawning pads a little bit because they take extra damage on top of the dripstone. So that's one way that you can lower this and get more out of a smaller farm. And it is, of course, based off of the tripwires, which, of course, right there will detect when a spider spawns, and then it'll excel the spider downwards straight into the dripstone. And yeah, it actually makes use of stacked minecarts here, so that we don't actually have any rail lines underneath here. And it will collect all the drops on top of the dripstones. So those go all the way across. Now, they're not that fast because obviously they're not on top of rails, but the good thing is you don't need to place rails for this farm, besides obviously for the part for the unloader, and then the one bounce back rail on the other side to obviously send the minecarts back, which is also your on-off switch. Your stacked minecarts will be over here. But yeah, it'll be kind of a pain to build that top section there, just because of where everything is placed. But it won't be that bad. For the 200,000 blocks that it is to place, it's really repetitive. And like compared to the ice farm that we built a while ago, obviously there's much simpler 72k ice farms nowadays with flying machines. Back when we built ours, the best one was making use of piston feed tapes and things like that by Fallen Breath. So that one took a while, but that's because there was like individual sections and things. This one, there is individual sections, but it's really repetitive across the full thing. So most of it is actually just like a roof too for pack spawning. So it won't actually be too bad to build. least in theory. So yeah, we have all the materials for the project. All we're waiting for is the dripstone from our dripstone farm that I just kind of just threw together inside the crop farm pillar, so that is running right now. But yeah, once all that is gathered, we'll start building this up. We can basically start right now if we wanted to get like the first couple layers done. We can always add the dripstone in later. It's like now we actually have to have the dripstone in before we continue the rest of the farm. But yeah, of course we'll need to go around and glass the full perimeter floor. But we'll probably do that afterwards, that we won't have to keep breaking stuff for the actual farm here. So we shall see once it gets to that. So yeah, let's get some work done on here. We'll come back once this has some progress done to it. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm a professional at this, and I might forget to record. I might not. We'll see. All right, so we have a bit of the farm actually built up. We got the whole full killing chamber here, as well as part of the spawning pads here. So you are seeing that they are, string based with the slime. Obviously, the slime will be extended up and then back down real quick. That way the spider starts to fall through the block, but also gets accelerated downwards, which will also decrease the time the spider, of course, is in the game before it hits the ground. So the collection, I believe, is one of the cool things about this farm, as well as the dripstone, because obviously it's a bit lower. Farm can be a bit lower, as well as it's smaller because you don't need to be it's not as high in the world, so you can reach the same speed at a lower area with a smaller farm compared to building it higher up and needing a larger farm. So yeah, this collection here is 3 stacked hopper minecarts right here. This will go all the way across down there without the need for any powered rails, which allows them to go right underneath the dripstone here, not needing any rails, which means that they should pretty much collect all of the drops there that are on top of the dripstone. So yeah, we'll send these off right here real quick just for the demonstration purposes. So you can see they're going all the way down without any powered rails. It's all just the stacked cart momentum, which is really cool to look at because I don't think many farms actually implement this, unless they were to, of course, use the dripstone collection. There's really no other point to do this. It's a little bit slower, as you can see, than a regular powered rail. So it's really no benefit to do this rather than just a regular rail, unless you have the dripstone where you really have only this option here to collect it within a low height map. Now, yes, there are some that go like up and down, but of course, as you can guess, those are going to be higher up, which of course would not be ideal. So those go, then they get unloaded. Of course, they have any drops in them. If not, once all 3 of them are empty, they will get sent back, and then the cycle, they'll bounce off the back powered rail there, and that will go back to the start. Of course, all of our drops will end up over here, so we'll attach some sort of storage here. I just did not build that with the schematic because all I did was just retexture the provided farm that we had here. So if you want to check this out, there will be, of course, a link down in the description below to the Mob Farm Archive Discord, where this is posted. You can get your hands on the schematic. The retextured one, if you wanted to get the one like us with the black and red color scheme, of course, I did make a red pointed dripstone texture pack for this. That way we can fit the black and red theme really, really well. The schematic for the farm will be inside the AutoCraft Discord link below as well. And modifying these textures is pretty simple. I did show it on one of my streams. So if you wanted to see how that was done, make sure to check out the VOD channel that I have linked in the description below as well. That one will be an archive of all of my Twitch VODs that happen after the streams. That way you guys can watch them on YouTube as well. It's a whole separate channel that I have just for that. But yeah, so now it's just getting the farm here. So you can see we're doing the string layers right now. Okay, we're doing the string layer here. With the schematic, I did miss a couple gates. I didn't realize some of them were faced a different way. So, but they're the same, thing. You can just use whatever fence you want. The direction doesn't matter. That the type of wood doesn't really matter for that, so keep that in mind. I didn't realize some of them were facing the other way, but yeah. This layer will be the more difficult one to build because of all of the levers that we'll have to kind of place the block up here to place the levers on first above this one, and then we'll have to go down and then place the pistons. Or we just don't place the pistons in yet. We don't do this layer, we just kind of skip it and go to the next one. We'll have to figure out sort of a system to get this to work the way we want it to. Anything interfering in a sense. The next ones aren't too bad because it's pretty much done. And of course you have the outline for the pack spawning. But yeah, once this is done, we gotta get materials for the whole floor again. We'll place them on top because if we go check out the current scale of the farm compared to the perimeter here, yeah, it's about a good like 80%, I want to say, of the actual floor here. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, that's without without even the pack spawner on it too. So yeah, just look at this farm. It basically covers the whole spider, so the decoration we kind of rendered useless at this point, which is why we are going to redo the floor decoration on top. Yes, that will decrease the rates, but it's not that big of a deal. We're never going to really use 100 and some thousand string per hour anyways that this farm creates. But yeah, this is going to look pretty good once everything's all course. With the red dripstone, it does tie it all in together as well. So yeah, let's get back to building the farm. We might do a time lapse, we might not. I'll see about if we can do a time lapse for the floor on top. It all depends on how much time I actually have myself to build the farm. As you can tell, I placed the schematic in last night, and we have the farm, I want to say, about 60-70% done. Let's see right here. Yeah, 56% done. It's getting quite far in the build right now. So yeah, get back to the grind, and we'll be back once everything is all completed. And we're working on the decoration on top of the farm yet again. Alright, so the spider farm is technically fully done, and we could run it if we wanted to. However, because this farm covers a large majority of the perimeter here, and more importantly the floor, from a map's point of view, you can't even see the spider that we spent so much time, building up in survival and things like that. So because we don't really care how fast this farm is going to be in the long run, because we get a lot of string anyway, we're going to build the floor again right on top of the farm here. Yes, like I said, it's going to decrease the rates and all, but it's not really that big of a deal. We're still going to be well over 100,000 and probably 125,000 string per hour. So I still think that is perfectly fine. So we'll do the floor inside of this encasement right here, because that is the spots that the farm does cover, obviously. So we're going to gather materials for that, start placing that, and then we'll use black stained glass on top of this to cap it all up. And then the floor and this whole perimeter will finally be done. So yeah. Obviously I did glass the bottom of here during a stream, so I did that one as well. And then I built up the storage over here. Didn't really want to do a UI for this one because it's not really needed. The switches over there. Building it on top would just kind of look a bit clunky, so we put it over here. So then we'll have the shulker box litters here, which are pre-filtered, of course, because we can get some other drops that, we wouldn't really keep. Really, what we're building this farm for is just the string. So yeah, this part's done here. Those things get flushed over into this chest here. Decent amount of storage, nothing too crazy like at all, but just a small storage to add to the farm there. So yeah, we'll gather materials for the rest of the stuff. We'll then come back once the full perimeter is completed with the decoration on top of the actual farm itself. Otherwise, this area is technically fully done. Alright, so the full spider farm perimeter is completed here. And yes, my texture pack is different at the time of recording, but that's just because I had to change some things up. But we'll get to that in a later episode down the line. But everything here inside this perimeter is fully completed. We have redone the floor on top of the actual farm itself. And as you can see here, I have the overworld mob switch turned off, so we are actually getting a lot of spiders spawning. Now I also do need to turn on the actual collection system, which we had to slightly modify with the current one that was included in the schematic. This is, of course, an old farm, and new ones will be coming out very soon. With Chronos as well, they might give a new one there, but we had to modify this by adding a 2-tick repeater there. That way the minecarts actually stay there and, don't break this concrete powder, stuff like that. But that's pretty straightforward to do. I also really like how the starting animation is compared to the others, but that's just my personal preference. And yeah, if I were to have the red slimestone pack on here, this would actually make this area look a whole lot better. So let's do that real quick. And now that is on, of course, with the black nether brick as well. This area looks absolutely amazing. And yeah, the collection, I only kind of just changed where the on-off switch is. This, of course, I have these boots on. So yeah, this, of course, usually is your regular on-off switch, but I had to move it over there just because the carts could get stuck, and when you turn the farm off, they would unstack in a sense. Whereas with this, we can keep it like this. You can usually just use it like a redstone block or a torch next to it. That way you don't need to worry about, the carts moving, anything like that. But what I would recommend is keeping these blocks solid. That way you don't have to worry about that. You could put a lever on top of the power rails to do that a different way like that, but this is the alternative that I found that works with this particular farm typically. So yeah, this farm, like I said, it's going to be running for a very little bit of time because it'll already give us enough to actually never need to run the farm again. I think we've actually took a lot of the string that this farm already produced and moved it to main storage or other projects that we might ever need it for, which I highly doubt. But yeah, all in all, this area, I absolutely love how this turned out, especially the decoration here with the spider eyes in the corners in the middle of the walls here. Kind of makes you get that whole spider vibe right there. And it's like, no matter where you are inside of the perimeter, those spiders are watching you. So yeah, of course, just like all the other ones that we've had recently, this decoration, the floor and the wall, will be available on AutoCraft's website. If you want to pick that schematic up, they are actually on sale for $2.50 compared to the normal amount. So now would be a great time to actually buy one of those if you would like to. So yeah, all in all, this area looks absolutely amazing, and especially now that we have the floor there from on top of the farm, this looks absolutely amazing, even with the farm all hidden underneath there. Same thing with the squid. These areas have been turning out absolutely amazing with the floor art that we have been getting. Even the general mob farm with the one we don't even have on top. We could also do that as well, and I might, who knows. But, these areas are absolutely turning out amazing. And I love how high quality this one is, even on a 256 scale. This was one of the best ones that I've ever had turn out, and it looks absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's it for this episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, all those sorts of things, and I'll see you in the next one.